Hey guys, today we are giving you our start-sit analysis for Week 2 Thursday night game, as well as our cut and stash list for Week 2. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right now.
Hit that drop. Hey everyone, I am Justin, and that is Kyle, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. We always like to start off by saying thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. Now, hopefully, the waiver wire was kind to you all. If you need a refresher or see if any of our waiver wire players are still available, definitely check out our episode from yesterday in the link above. Kyle, point, thank you. Or in the description below. Boop.
Yep.
Today, we are hitting you with our Thursday night start-sit matchups. And also, that's Bengals at Browns, as well as our stash and cut segment. Kyle, what you got for me?
You know what? Like always, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you've been subscribed for a while, we thank you for hanging around. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit it. Make sure you click that bell. That way you're notified every time we upload the podcast. And we're going to be doing this all season long, guys. So we're going to be helping you every week. I think we've settled into the schedule that we're going to have the whole time. Yep. Week 2 is about to kick off. We want to get you guys ready for that. We're running through all the start-sit considerations that you need to know for Week 2. And to start that, we're doing Thursday Night Football. Comment below with all of your start-sit questions. You know, do I start player A over player B, that sort of thing, for the rest of Week 2, or hit us up on Twitter for that sort of stuff. Let's dive headfirst into the shallow end.
Yep. And
get started with Cincy at Cleveland. Right? Yeah.
Oh,
bringing the heat.
Bringing the juice for the second week.
For Week 2 NFL. Way to go.
NFL
I guess they're like,
what is that? Oh, no, it's their own network. Why would they even do that? You know,
they
usually give ESPN or NBC like some bad games. Like, why would they even do that themselves?
I think that they're doing it because they think that Burrow is going to have this big draw, and maybe he does. I don't know. It's Burrow versus Baker, I guess. I mean,
if you went to any other team, not the Bengals, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so we're going to start out with the Bengals here, and let's see here. We've got Joe Burrow. I've got him as a start. The Browns really kind of stunk it up here against the Ravens last week. So I'm looking to start a few guys extra probably. So I've got Mixon as a start. I've got Bernard as a start as a flex in PPR. He showed up a little bit in the game last week. Yep. And in that respect, I think he still presents value. He's getting up there. He's a little long in the tooth. So he's getting up there. He's probably only paid.
Who was that? Was that Marshall Falk or who did say that? Long in the tooth. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
About a player or about
Bernard kind of started that. No.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, long in the tooth is a horse thing, right?
Oh, I got
This is the information that everybody's watching for, right?
All right, we can get right back into
talking about horse teeth, right? All right, so wide receivers, I've got A.J. Green as a start and Tyler Boyd as a start. I think if you're desperate, you could start John Ross, but I don't think you're desperate at this point in the season.
Hopefully not.
A.J. Green actually secured 25% of the targets in this game, in the Week 1 game, so that's pretty promising. He's got to catch a few more of them. He's got to turn that into something a little bit more. I think that they had a touchdown that was like called back for offensive pass interference in the end zone that would have won the game. That would have been a touchdown to AJ Green, and it was a little ticky-tacky, that one. And I think that there was one with Michael Gallup in the Dallas game that was also ticky-tacky that would have done the same sort of thing. All right, and then don't start any tight ends there. Nobody else should be started there. Really. I mean, this game, not a game that a lot of you should have anybody starting in. I mean, there's a couple guys. Like A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon are probably the guys you really should focus on the Cincinnati side. What do you have for me on the Browns here?
All right, for the Browns, it's going to be pretty quick as well. Baker Mayfield, sit. That's just a sit. Sadly, I think it's going to be like that for most of the year. Nick Chubb is a start.
Would you start him in a 2 QB league? That's the question, right? Would you start Baker Mayfield in this game in a 2 QB?
I would have hoped I would have taken another flyer at the end of the draft on like a, Gardner Minshew or Teddy Bridgewater. But
I think Minshew went a little higher, though, I think.
I think he was going around the same as in ADP. So, but yeah, I mean, if you are in a 2 QB league and you have drafted only 2 QBs and you have to put Baker in there and there's nobody on the waiver wire, yeah, you're going to have to do it. Other than that, I would not trust him against anybody else right now, sadly. But
I would
Nick
probably take a
Chubb,
chance with somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick over him, honestly.
Fitzmagic, yeah. Why
Just
not?
try it. Why not?
Why not? See how it feels.
Yep.
Nick Chubb is a start, but it's it's risky. He had 10 carries in week 1, and he kind of got game stripped out.
Yeah,
And
10 carries and 1 catch, I think, or something.
yeah, it's just one of those things where I think they're going to be playing from behind a good amount, and that just means some more touches for Kareem Hunt, who's the next one on here. He's a start. We still kind of prefer him in the flex right now. But if you're in the PPR, you might be able to start him if you have to in a running back 2 slot. But still, even with the standard scoring, I think we would be all right with him in the flex. He had 13 carries and 17 touches total in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
At the wide receiver, we have OBJ as a start, Jarvis Landry as a start. That's about it for wide receivers. Like both those guys, we're hoping for a bounce back, as that was a rough week 1 all around for the Browns.
Yeah.
And then for tight end, we are going to go ahead and say start Austin Hooper. For 1, we're going against the Bengals. 2, David Njoku is on the IR. He already got hurt, so
yeah.
Austin Hooper's going to have to. He's going to have to step up. And we kind of said fade Austin Hooper going into this draft season. But, hey, if he fell to you and you didn't have a tight end, yeah, we still believe that. But if it's one of those things where if you drafted him and that's your only tight end, hopefully there's other people out there. But, all right, well, that's our start sit for Thursday Night Football for week 2. Next up is our new segment, Stash and Cut. We're going to go ahead and hit with the cut first. I love my background for the stash and cut. I think it worked.
It's not stab and cut. It's stash and cut.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Poison.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go ahead and hit with the cut first. And this one kind of hurts for me. So the first one up is Marlon Mack. And sadly, he tore his Achilles in the first quarter. That's definitely an all-year injury, so he is out for the rest of the year. Definitely take a look at our waiver wire pickup episode if you haven't already. We had a couple people on there for that to kind of help fill in.
Go get Naeem Hines.
What do you got next for the cut?
Kerryon Johnson. Just friggin' do it. Seriously, like, why is this guy still on people's teams, on their rosters? Like, get rid of him. Come on. Swift did enough to show that he's the guy in the end that's going to be the one that they're relying on.
Heck, Adrian Peterson did way more than what Kerryon Johnson did, and he was on the team for like a week.
Not even. I think it was less than a week.
Jeez.
I think that he was added 6 days or 5 days beforehand.
Good Lord.
So, yep.
Just do it.
All right. So what do you have as our third cut? This is our last one for this week.
Yep. The last cut, Mecole Hardman. Sadly, it's just he's going to be way too inconsistent to really count on him. And whenever you're back there returning kicks, kick returns and punt returns, that's not usually a good sign for what your fantasy value is going to be for the season. And I mean, he is dynamic with the ball in his hands, but he's fifth, sixth maybe option catching because Demarcus Robinson outsnapped the heck out of him when it comes to routes and everything, and he's the third wide receiver on this team right now. Yeah.
I mean, when I saw people were like so high on Mecole Hardman and then on Twitter, and then they were like blown away that he didn't do well this last week, I was like, well, because he's the kick returner, he's not a high level wide receiver option for that offense. That's not his role. It's just not what you do with kick returners. No, not yet. And probably, honestly, not ever. I mean, the guy's caught 40 catches. I think he's had no more than 40 catches any year in his entire football career.
We're talking college as well, people.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, he's only second year in the pro. No, college as well.
All right, let's move on here. We got stashes. These are guys that you can put on your roster, but you're just going to sit and wait and see right now, see if they turn into something, see if their situation improves, see if they get
you probably didn't
opportunity.
You didn't probably grab them with the waiver wire. Hopefully you didn't use
don't use any priority on these guys. These are guys that don't spend a whole lot on fab bucks to get these guys. This is all about just having somebody who's weeks away from having probably like a potential to grow into something that you can actually start. The first one we've got is Jerick McKinnon. He is currently rostered in 11% of Yahoo leagues. He had 3 carries for 24 yards and I think 5 targets, 3 catches, 20 yards, and a TD.
Yep.
So right now, he's obviously not pressuring Mostert for this is not a commit situation, but
Right.
he is definitely that pass catching option that I think he'll grow into a little bit more as as this offense begins to get its legs under itself. Really,
Absolutely.
they want to run the ball a ton, and having a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield is a really valuable option. That is what Mostert is as well. And so, unfortunately, if Mostert were to get injured, this guy would also jump right up the list too. And if you've got him stashed because you have a bench spot, that's not a terrible thing to do.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things where the 49ers paid Jerick McKinnon a lot of money a couple of years ago, and he's just had bad luck with ACL injuries. And there's a reason why they went ahead and kept him around. One, they did slash his pay to keep him around, but he is dynamic when he's healthy, and let's hope he's healthy for the entire season because he just makes that team much better. So for my stash, I'm going to go with Steven Sims Jr. from the Washington football team. He's only 7% rostered right now, and he put up 3 targets, 3 catches, 50 yards, so nothing too crazy. He had a lot of steam there for a couple weeks, I feel like in the offseason. There's a lot of people talking him up, and he does look like to be the number 2 wide receiver in this offense, but he might be the 3rd pass-catching option. So it's one of those things where, once again, if you have a deep bench, let's take a flyer and put him on your bench and see what happens, and see if this Washington football team, if their offense grows a little bit more this year.
Yeah. All right. And our last player is Scottie Miller with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had 6 targets for 5 catches, 73 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns. He's been getting a lot of praise from Brady. We were joking that he's like Edelman in a lot of ways, or
Amendola,
Amendola, all these guys that Brady's always done well with. He was second in targets last Sunday behind Godwin, so he outpaced Mike Evans. But as you know, Mike Evans was injured, so that didn't look too good with Brady and Evans. But I think that dynamic will get better as Evans gets healthier. So right now you got to kind of keep an eye on what Evans is doing. So it might be worth stashing Scottie Miller, because if anyone were to go down in this offense or to miss time or anything like that, especially with COVID issues and the shortened IR that they now allow, a guy like that could turn into something valuable really quickly. He could establish himself and then not let go of the spot.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Hamstring injuries for wide receivers.
Yep.
They just like to stay around for the whole entire season.
Yep.
So that's tough for Mike Evans.
He's currently, I don't think I mentioned it, he's 6% rostered right now in Yahoo. Yeah. So that is a guy that is definitely available, but his name is probably out there enough you're going to see that change a little bit. So you might have to spend a little bit to get him. But if you decide to spend your money elsewhere on Fab, then don't worry about it if you miss out on him. There's plenty of other options early in the season. And you know what? If you don't spend anything on him and nobody goes and grabs him and you've got the spot, maybe he's something worth considering. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. And we'll be back again tomorrow with the first half of the start-sit matchups, the breakdowns for the whole slate of games for Sunday and Monday. And so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell as well so that you're notified when we upload these episodes. I'm going to go ahead and throw onto the screen right now a link to our waiver wire episodes. So if there's anybody that you're still trying to fill in a slot for, you still know who we are trying to target, even though waivers have already run. All right, guys. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for being a fan of the Upside. Bye.
See you guys.